Oh, what are we talking about?
Look, listen to us.
What are we talking about right now?
Y'all want the scoop? You listen to fucking KFC Radio.
Subscribe to the podcast, KFC Radio on YouTube.
Bang.
Well,
we had a girl DM us about our podcast, the four of us, talking about, what was that talking about? That girl that DM'd us.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, I see someone tweeted me being like, I had to fast forward from a part because I forget what.
Something about big girls or something like that, like hog hunting or whatever. And I was like,
yeah. I mean,
I read it and I go, nah, I'm just gonna leave this alone.
Yeah.
It's just life. Hey, listen.
sometimes people get upset. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
life.
Feelings are.
I put
That's
out
life.
a product and
it's
not
like,
every single person.
If
alive
we
loves
hurt
it,
one
I'm sorry.
person's feeling with that podcast, like I consider that a
Win.
huge success.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
And if like even though like you'll sit there and you like empathize with it like as you're reading it, you're thinking like, am I gonna allow this one thing to like change and
it's like I
censor
wish I didn't
some
hurt your
of the stuff
feelings.
I did?
but, like,
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, it does though. That's the thing, and that's why I got kind of hot about the Reddit stuff, because like it does change whether or not you let it like actively. It's subconsciously it does like it will affect the next thing you say.
Yeah.
And that's why I got so bothered with the Reddit stuff at Barstool. Like have like the
I do want to hear more about
internal
that.
burners because
The
those people who
Zeke
are
guy,
doing
is it
that,
Zeke or Deke or
Deke
yeah,
Zucker.
we're never gonna get it, whatever. But like I got so bothered.
is that
by
a
it.
real person?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, just having the burners. Everyone here knows what comments do to them. Everyone here knows how that affects you and makes you depressed or sad or anxious or rethink how you do your job. And everyone knows that. And to fucking do that to other people you're working with and you know are trying to battle through that is fucked up. That's like,
So
that's
fucked
fucking
up.
bullshit.
Yeah.
And we're never going to get to listen. That sucks. But that's why, because those comments do, even if it's just one, it changes how you're hardwired.
People
even a
remember the
little bit.
one negative but over
Over 10
100,000
Yeah.
positive. Yeah. So
Why won't you ever get the list?
he won't give it to me.
Because the dude's a cunt.
You know him?
Oh wow.
I talked to him. He told me there were some people at Barstool who told him that he shouldn't put the list out. And that made me hot because I was like, why the fuck are you standing in the way of that? Like, because he also singled me out and was like, you were the most talked about. So now I'm like, let me fucking find out.
Right.
And he initially said he was like, I don't want anyone to get fired. I was like, I'm not gonna be fired. I just want to know for myself to know what's up because I'm not trying to get people fired because I don't want to deal with HR and fucking all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But I just want to know. And then he was like, well, all other people at Barstool have told me not to. And I've talked to those people and they, it was a misunderstanding or whatever. But like, I just think that Deke is going to be like a bitch about it and not, but like, how
Do you think it's
fucked up
real
is
then?
that?
Do you think it's real?
I do because
I think
I've
it's fucked
talked
up because he throws the carrot out there.
Yes.
Right.
And
there's
for
no
me to
follow-through. I think
either,
that's where
I want to
the
like
fucked up part is.
professionally know, and then personally, like I can get some closure out of some things that I went through and confirm probably what I already know about a few people. And so to like dangle that in front of me, which would like give me like some sort of peace, and then just be like, nah, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm like, well, fuck you then, dude.
Right.
Either don't do it at all or don't do it and single me out or don't, like the dangling is what I thought was fucked up. I think there is a list. It's the reason I believe it's a list is because it's also not the most damning list in the world. He doesn't have like proof. It's like very logical. It's probably like this probably definitely is this person. If you look at how they're talking, what they're saying, who they're saying about, and how they posted 25 days in a row the same thing, you can kind of figure it out if you use your head. But it's not enough of a smoking gun to really even be a thing. So that's why I do believe it exists. I just don't think it's all that it was hyped up to be. But also just then even more reason, just give it to me. Because all it is a list of supposedly maybe people who are talking shit. There's no legal ramifications.
Yeah, I think it's like harder for the Barstool
fucking
office
insane.
too, right? Because you guys I can only imagine if we all like let it fly in the locker room and we had like a forum and platform that we did it on, and there are also like people in the same building that are making other accounts and talking shit. Like you kind of want, like I'm thinking about like for us, like like me personally, I feel like I'll let it fly more because it's like, if something happens and all we have is Bussin with the boys, it's like, I know we are our own bosses about it. So there's nobody in there that you're trying to like appease or like walk into a building or like a locker room. Like you guys let it fly, but you're very much around and ingrained with everybody every day.
I let it
To where
fly with everything
something
except
office
Barstool
wise
stuff.
could still kind of like mess with you.
You
I guess
you can
if
see
JP
why like
made a
this
burner-
this could be a little toxic in here.
Oh,
You can
hell
definitely
yeah.
see it like
So toxic.
We're walking around here like we walk in here and we're like, yo, this is so fucking dope because we're in college.
It's Barstool.
And you see Barstool, Smoke Show of the Week, the website. You guys, see what I'm saying?
That's the first
You
thing
kinda-
we go to.
Yeah, for real though. Do you remember looking at that?
Bro.
Smoke Show of the Week. That shit was fire. And then you kind of like, I
Or
remember,
just
I
like
remember
dudes
Barstool
being
having
dudes and just like cutting it up.
Barstool having
and-
parties at Michigan and me not being able to get in.
Yeah.
And now I'm like here. And like we
Right.
walk in, it's like, yo, this is so dope. And then you spend a couple hours here and you're like, If I was here every single day for 10 years, 12 years,
Yeah.
be like, man, there'd be a lot of I don't like this person doesn't like
Well,
me.
you know what the
type stuff.
saddest
It's
thing
like
is
high
too?
school.
What these guys were
Very much
saying,
like high school.
how it starts, a lot of people get a burner to hype themselves up for
Yeah.
people to be like, yo, I heard Will Compton's the funniest. Like, I think Will Compton's the funniest guy.
Yeah.
Just being like,
Just me hyping myself
you
up
would
about
hope
the
it-
burner.
but
Hyping
then
people up
someone's
the burner.
like, yeah, Will's funny, but like Taylor's really funny. And next thing you know, your comments of Will's really funny turn into like, well, fuck Taylor.
Yeah.
You know, so it starts.
Yeah.
It always starts out
You
like
would.
a good idea, and next thing you know, you're obsessed with because
No, I
people,
feel
it's
you.
also you when you say something negative on Reddit, you get 1 million upvotes.
Yeah.
and I do think there's like a weird in this generation. I think there's like a psychological thing of getting votes or likes or followers. Like your brain is like, do more.
Dude,
And
for
next thing
sure,
you know, you've
the
been
content
on the
you hear.
Reddit page 100 days in a row saying fuck Feidelberg, fuck KFC, whatever, and
Right.
it's like you don't even know how it
saw
happened.
that.
You know?
It was actually interesting. I was watching like a
Scumbags.
clip of Ethan Hawke, and he was talking about how he hates how America turns everything into a competition. Everything needs to have a score. And he was talking about not Reddit comments or any kind of upvotes or whatever. He was talking about movies where he's like, I hate Rotten Tomatoes. I hate box office numbers being put out. He's like, because it shouldn't be a contest. It should be like, did they feel something in their hearts about this movie? It shouldn't be like, how much money did the movie make? And I was like, that's actually, yeah, you're right. Like, it is kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are benefits to Rotten Tomatoes and things like that.
Sure,
But it is like, it would be better if it's like, everyone got to experience it and emotionally how they wanted to. It's not like you read like that was a funny blog, and then the top blog comments like this blog sucked. And you're like, you know what, it did suck. You're right.
People get swayed by that shit.
Swayed
That's
easily.
what really bothered me about it. People were like, why do you care? It's just like they were like, you talk shit about some people with your crew. I'm like, yeah, I probably do, but I talk quietly. I don't do it publicly where it might impact somebody's. You know, if I say to Feidelberg, I don't like that guy, it's one thing. If I say it on Reddit where there's 1 million people who might go, oh, I don't like that guy either.
It's
Like,
almost
now you're
it's
fucking with my money.
normalized.
Now you're fucking with my brain. Now you're
Yeah.
fucking with my friends.
Well, that's like the big draw too with like Barstool is like the unfiltered, like not as corporate, like you guys, everybody kind of knows a lot of their business, but it also makes it like that much more personal too. Like
Yeah.
with all you guys,
Yeah.
when when moments like this happen in Barstool, like all the good shit, when the moments are bad, it's like it's also taken that much more personal because you guys are all so ingrained with each other. I feel
right.
like.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's ingrained. It's
Like
like
think about the Dave Portnoy show and Marty sitting on there. It's like you
Yeah, that
like
shit was
you
wild.
I'll sit there and be like you kind of like understand the boys and like the guy code thing and everything else, but at the end of the day, my man Marty's got to sit there and like his boss says, and everyone who's above him has to sit there and like it's a weird mix of the personal and business that you got to sit there and like swallow
shit got real
for like
fast.
a relationship
Yeah.
thing, and it's like,
Well,
so are you
like-
firing me? No, I'm not firing you. I'm just saying that I'm not gonna
That was crazy.
it's just a weird mix. It's
Yeah.
a weird. It's like, okay, here's where you can say something's going too far, and here's where you can also say like, yeah, I understand the whole guy code thing and everything else, but like at the end of the day, Marty's still like this dude's still going home and fighting some certain demons himself as
No
far as
question.
like feeling
Yeah,
like, man, I'm a fraud,
Especially
I'm a
when
rat.
it's the president doing
Everyone's
it, you know
calling
what
me
I'm
a
saying?
snake. Like,
Fucking-
yeah, that was I guess a snake move, but like, man, I'm like. Everyone's just piling on me, and there's really nothing I can do because I don't really have pull in this company.
Right.
It is-
That's
it
like
is definitely
ran
become
like a
pile on.
personal company.
Oh, I mean, the fact it's gone so far over the line. Like whatever you think about, like how you want to punish that guy or whatever. I mean, we're running up the score on Marty Mush. now.
Right,
Like,
running- exactly, you're
like,
running
let's
up
just,
the fucking
let's just
score.
call a spade. That's what's happening. You know what I mean? If you're doing that kind of stuff and trying to not own up to it, like what they're doing to Marty is on purpose. But that's just
Right.
a fact.
But part of Barstool is all content. So was this a ploy to get some content in for everybody in the beginning? And
I
then kind
think
of like,
when Dave gets going, it starts out of a personal matter, and then he also realizes the content value,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
usually a
anything-
good thing.
and then turns
But
into
it's
the
also-
turns into like the
It
big
can
brain
get
move.
dark too.
I know.
Turns into the big brain.
I had so
move.
much respect for Dave and everything, but when I was watching that small clip, and everything can be put out of context, like Ryan Tannehill saying he's not gonna be a mentor for the new quarterback of
Yeah.
the Titans.
right.
Oh, mentors
Like,
again, huh?
yeah, well, that's what I was trying to remember the word.
Mentor, yeah.
But like when I hear like Dave like kind of going at Marty, and you kind of just see Marty, he looks so sad and fragile when he's talking to him, and it could be out of context, but it seemed like, hey, why are you kind of?
And you know he's got to eat it. You know he's got to eat it.
He's got it because what are you
There's
gonna
nothing
say?
you can really try
you gonna
back
say to
about
Dave?
because you realize what you did, but like you got to.
But what did he do that was wrong? And I'm not saying I'm Team Marty. I'm not saying I'm Team Hank. Like I understand. So many have so much respect for Hank. I don't know Hank. I don't really know Marty. But like, what exactly happened that was so wrong?
I think
Just
that's
asking.
where I think that's where
I-
the personal side comes in. Like it's
Right.
so personal.
But that's what's weird.
But
Personal
that-
gets
and
mixed
the
with
biz side-
professional, so
right,
it's like
right, right.
there's a personal issue, but now this guy's profession is fucked because of it. It's like
I don't know that there ever was a personal issue. I don't think that.
Oh no,
that-
I meant personal issue with Dave.
Oh yeah.
Like
I
Dave
think those
and-
three never wanted anything to be public.
Right.
I think if you asked all three of them individually, like, do you want any of this? They'd all be like, absolutely
no.
fucking not.
Yeah.
Hank included.
I think Dave.
I'm speaking for them. I'm speaking for just what I think.
Dave
I
is a
haven't heard
loyal
this, but-
dude, obsessed with loyalty, and I think wanted to make a point of that. And like, I don't think Hank wanted. If I was Hank, I would hate this. I'd be like, this makes me look like I need people to fight
Tom
my
Brady
fights.
did
The only
Yeah,
good
I
thing
know.
you got,
Yeah,
you got the Brady
yeah,
tweet, so your
yeah,
numbers are boozing a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're still sleeping all right at night. Like you're still like, yeah. I mean, everybody else seems to be taking this way more serious than I'm taking it right now. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
but
over- I'm
you've
now
been in
over
a
it as
situation
Hank guy.
before. We've all been in situations before where there's like either whether it's a love triangle or an argument, and and everyone knows that you're not at fault. And there is like a nice feeling about that going. Like,
when
okay,
you're
shit's
like,
going
I'm
down,
good, yeah.
but I'm still like I'm laying this head on this pillow, and I'm like I'm
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Right.
And Hank is in that position.
Right.
Well,
right now.
what if something like this happened in a NFL locker room? Like let's say, so Hank and Marty aren't
I think it
very
has.
close. They're not like
Have they
sure
been
that-
close?
No,
Yeah,
they,
no,
they,
they
they were
just-
not
that's
friends.
where it's like yo,
People
it's kind of
think
like
that we're all
matter, though.
brothers
Right.
and shit. It's like,
So like let's say
We're cool.
some guy on offense, right? Let's say an offensive lineman starts dating, I don't know, a fucking safety's ex-girlfriend. They rarely cross paths. Occasionally they see each other and here and there.
Yeah.
But it's they're not going out together. They're not making phone calls to each other. Is that an
and
issue?
then he goes to him and says, or she comes to him at least. So that was the problem too. Rhea said you don't have to talk to him, and he should have been like, I'm going to.
Yeah.
But
if I'm
If
I'm
it was
Marty,
kind of he didn't find out through the tabloids.
yeah.
They came and said, hey, I'm dating your teammate.
That's all that matters as long as you're not finding out from like a public forum.
That's
like
kind
an
of how I
article.
felt about it.
If
They went to Hank. He
Behind-
was okay with it, or I don't know what he felt, but he was like, okay, I know. In my position, like people, are like, Marty's got to know what's going to happen. I never in a million years would think that someone might lose their job for this. Like they went to the person who needed to hear it and told him. I don't know. I don't think you have to disclose that to anybody else.
yeah.
No, it's like,
I think it's tough,
It
like-
sounds like everything when we walked in this building. Okay, first up to answer your question. So sorry. I don't think that. I think there'd be a issue of egos.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right. Oh, for
that-
sure.
yeah,
All
it
I
should be
was
good.
thinking was that
Of course.
word
Yeah.
ego. Like the
It's
only
like
issue is
you be
ego.
hurt because you're like you know what it's like.
Would
dude,
Vrabel
Boy,
get
your
involved?
boys know.
No.
Would your
When
GM get involved?
Unless
No.
it blew up, kind
In
of like
the
it's
fe-
blowing up here. Like
But it only blew up
You can't
because
get-
of.
no,
But it only blows
'cause-
up there if
'cause
like
I think
Vrabel's up doing a thing.
it really
that's
started
fine.
blowing up with Big Cat when he said, "I don't fuck with Marty."
Right. But that's what I mean. So, but it
They-
didn't blow up because of them.
they
It blew
too.
up because of.
But they
the
did that
out-
after Big Cat, right?
But either way,
Yeah, but they're
I'm
both
saying the
saying we're
same
not doing
thing.
content with
So
this
like,
Yeah.
think about it. Like, all right, coach and GM, like like Dave and Big Cat. Like,
Yeah.
so it only blew up once those guys turned it into a thing.
Right. I think if it's affecting the workplace, like from a football standpoint, if I was started dating someone's ex-girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, the only way it would become an issue where the team had to know about it or the GM or the head coach had to talk about it is if it was affecting the workplace.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
But I guess so. The problem here is like
It wouldn't
Marty,
affect the workplace
Marty
unless John
needs-
Robinson and Mike Vrabel were mad at,
Or
or me and you not being boys, and you're like dating my ex.
yeah, or if Hank was so upset that he was saying something like
Right.
really the trajectory of this path should have gone as far as Hank wanted it to go.
Right.
Because Hank is the one whose feelings should be of the
point
most
of it all.
value.
Right, right,
I
right.
That
think
should be
that's
the most
issue
valuable
here is
situation.
that I think there's either two sides or he said, she said, or something lost in communication. I think at times Hank has signaled, I don't care about this.
Mm.
And then maybe other times, other people he has maybe signaled
Well,
he does
It's
care
a
about.
totally normal thing to do.
Because-
Think
Yeah.
about it,
Super
think
normal.
about it.
Because you remember,
might get-
you all remember
like,
getting broken
you
up
got
with?
one boy where you're like, yo, I'm fine, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck it. You
Bro.
got another friend who you have a different relationship with, like, yo, this is killing
Sucks.
me.
Right.
And-
Right.
Dude,
Right.
Or you hear your boys like not to cut you off, or you hear your boys saying like you might be all right with it, not all right with it, but you're like you understand that it makes you mad, and you're like I'll be straight. But then your boy's like, hey man, that's fucked up,
And you're like, yeah, it
and then
is.
you feel
Yeah,
like you've
yeah.
got to stand up for yourself.
Because then you're like a
Right.
pussy if
Yes,
I'm not
dude.
offended by it. But
And
I
then when
think the
people got your
issue-
back, you're kind of like letting it happen because you're like, I mean,
They got my
Right,
back.
right.
You know what
oh
I'm
yeah,
saying?
he's happy.
I didn't do
I don't have
nothing
to do
wrong.
this fight,
Right.
right?
Right.
But I guess it becomes, it's like if you can't work with Dan and Dave, it'd be like I'm not blocking for you anymore because of this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like he's not involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Hank said to Marty, "You can't work with me anymore," and Hank was the top dog, I would understand that. But it's other people
The problem
You
is
know,
like
it would
the
be like if
loyalty or the
YouTube
friendship
stopped
stuff
fucking with
the other side. Like I'm just like if you just think of Vrabel, like if you just think if we're talking just football terms because we're dumb jocks and we're just going to talk football terms.
I prefer.
It's like
I
Vrabel
prefer
saying
this as well.
It's like Vrabel saying like, all right, well Taylor, like I'm not going to play you and I'm not going to coach you and I'm not going to do nothing with you. Like,
Right.
You're like, I mean. You're like, why don't you just cut me? You're like, I'm not going to cut you. Like, your
meanwhile,
contract's up this
Vrabel's
year.
saying all that.
I'll just let you do all this shit.
Vrabel's saying
But
all that
it's
while
saying
the
all that-
dude is like,
saying all
no,
that
we're
public
we're good. We can play.
You're on a podcast with Vrabel. This is publicly happening. And to me, the mix is where it's like it's very much the side of Barstool that's the draw, but also like the Achilles heel is like the personal side very much gets intertwined with the business at that point.
Yeah, I mean that's where the fans don't know the full story sometimes. They think they do, and they think that everyone's best friends, and we're not. And
Yeah, but
and you
I
want to
think
just
it
start
seems like-
launching nukes sometimes, where it's like,
Then you cool down after the 48 hours that Big
like
Cat talks
Big Cat
to.
talked about. Yeah.
And like even with like Dave, like you kind of see it happening with the iCasino and like the like other stuff was made in the process immediately, but now it could be turning into like a content thing, which is like, all right, I guess now we see the benefit of the content coming from it.
Mhm.
But am I really as mad as what I once was on that?
Yeah,
podcast when I
we said
first
that
had him
before.
come
With
on?
like I rarely am mad about one thing for 48 hours. 24 hours, I'll be hot about something. Once I go to bed, I'm like, I wake up, I'm like, Jesus, I don't know why I fucking cared about that yesterday.
Right.
That's weird.
But like
I was
KFC
so
said, he
mad
went
about-
to like something later that day, and you realize that you're out of the bubble, and you're like,
Oh.
I mean, this
when
isn't necessarily
I texted
near big of a deal. As we're
one of
making
my
out.
buddies on the group chat texted like something about the whole issue, and my other friend was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "So this one girl who's like a top girl on the girl side of things, Rhea, was dating this guy," and he like replied, you know, you can reply to just the text,
Yeah.
and he replied to just that one, and he goes, "Honestly, bro, I stopped reading after that one. Are you good? Like everything's gonna work? Like your job's good?"
Yeah.
And because he's like, you know, 30-7 with 3 kids and 2 twins, and,
right.
and I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is a fake job, fake
Yeah,
life."
yeah.
But you know, it's a real thing for Marty. It's real money. It's real, you know,
Yeah,
it's a real
for
thing.
sure.
for
And then
him.
Marty, I didn't watch the whole thing with Portnoy and him, but it seemed like Portnoy was like, you either have to get married or this is gonna be a failure. And Marty's like, probably will. It's like, whoa,
Bro,
Well,
I
well,
would have
bro,
proposed the next
dude,
day.
we
Yeah.
said
Who cares? Get a divorce.
We said, dude. So what's the thing about it, right? I don't know what a wedding run you. What's a believable wedding run you? 50 grand? To be
Yeah,
like, all right,
let's
that's a
say.
real wedding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're making a $50,000 investment in your future. Like it sucks that you have to do it, but to
You don't even
not
got to do all the bells
keep-
and whistles for 50 grand though. You just go to the courthouse and throw
Yeah,
those.
for
out.
But
real.
no, but I'm saying you don't even have to legally get married because then
No, just stay engaged.
Just have the wedding.
Be engaged and be talking
Just
about
have
it all the
wedding
time.
is a good.
Just
I
have the
like that.
ceremony.
And then
I
if you
got
break
you. I
up
see
in the
what you're
future,
saying.
you break up. It's whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, just
It's
have
entertainment.
Have the wedding.
cares? Everybody's
invite them all.
married.
Yeah,
It's like WWE
Give a
in here.
$50,000 party that lets you keep your job forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fuck.
Make Dave do the like officiate. You gotta marry me, Dave. You gotta say
That would be
it.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I was watching the Dave Portnoy show, and my wife's like feeding her next to me, and she's like, "What are we watching?"
I know. It's sometimes so
And I go,
embarrassing.
"Oh, so
Yo,
this
I
shit's
was
going on."
so.
And I literally, my excuse was like, "We're going on Thursday, so I'm trying to like figure out what's going on."
Studying game film,
'Cause this,
babe.
this is the biggest thing right now going on.
She's
So
like,
we,
yo,
we
this is
walked
like
in
high
like,
school
whose side are we on?
Yeah,
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, "Yo, this is like high school drama." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, no,
It is,
come on,
dude. I
man.
was
You
so
watch The
hot. I was
Bachelorette.
so mad about the Reddit list when he said he wasn't gonna turn it out, and then other people were trying to stop it. I was as mad as I've been in like a decade here, and I fucking hate tweeting, and I was like staring at the wall. I was like so mad, and the next day I was like embarrassed with myself. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me, dude?" Like after all the shit you've gone through and everything you've done, like you were that upset.
Well,
But
like,
sometimes it hits
you in particular, were like you were
We're all
like kind of
human.
the first time where I like realized I should not comment on relationships, like on ones I don't know about, because like I knew what you were getting publicly and I knew what you'd gone through personally, and I was like, you don't know the story. Like, I was
it's
like,
the worst.
and so like I'm like
And you
just sitting,
can't say-
I'm like, you don't know what the fuck, and I'm getting madder and madder at every person who says some bullshit to you. It's like you don't know what it was like. And so, like, that's why I kind of feel bad chiming on these relationships. I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Don't
Like,
know.
I'm not close enough with any of the three of them to know.
They could be.
Exactly
They
what
those two
happened.
could be
It sounds like it's
so
none of our
happy that they're
business.
broken up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like who fucking knows?
And it sounds like it's none of our business. And also, if Marty and Hank aren't boys, it sounds like there's zero issue here.
Right.
There's zero issue
Right.
here. My question for you guys is, if this happens to you and you're Hank, what is the timeline for you guys to where the said Marty needs to come to you and tell you? You know what I'm saying?
I don't. We've
Oh,
said
Because that seems like there was
I
a huge
don't-
issue with the
'Cause
timeline.
I think it's an interesting debate because like people were like, why didn't you go to him right away? And they were like,
don't
because
do
we
that.
wanted to make sure it was like a real thing.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to go to you and be like, hey, your ex, like I fucked her one time when we were drunk. Maybe I'll do it again, but we don't know yet. I'd rather it be like.
and listen, if you've just broken with a girl, bro, there is no fucking worse feeling in the world than when you and a girl break up. And the first time you hear about her hooking up with
Yeah,
somebody else,
yeah.
bro, that fucking
Yeah, sometimes you don't
that
want to.
stab in the
You
heart.
had a story, right, where the guy was like,
Broke up for how long?
don't tell me this.
I told
They
them
broke up
that
for how long?
A few months, I don't know, a few months, I think.
Dude, I'm
Oh, a
still-
year? A year.
Yeah,
A year?
I think they've been broken up since last year.
Oh, what are we talking about? What?
Look, listen to
What
us.
are we talking about right
Y'all
now?
want the scoop? You listen to fucking KFC. Right now.
Oh my
I do know that there was
God.
some debate about like what timeline was real and what wasn't, but I think there was, me personally, as much as I might hurt, unless it's like him or like my brother or my best friend, even if it does hurt me, I'm like, that you are a free woman, you are a free man, like.
That's logic.
That's
ego.
a
It's
point
ego.
of breaking
It's all
up,
ego,
is
dude.
you don't have to fucking,
know.
listen to that person anymore. And yeah, I'd maybe be like, I don't want this. I would prefer this isn't the case, but what am I? And then I just would never want somebody making a stink for me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I can handle this. I'm a fucking man. I'm an adult. Like, I'm at work. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Fucking, let's not,
Yeah.
we don't have
It is a
just-
fucking weird deal.
Make sure you subscribe to KFC Radio on YouTube to get all the video content. Subscribe, comment, like, and make sure you turn on the bell notifications so you know whenever new video content drops.
I want to say something, but the video has to be faster. That's it.